Ito ang Broad Streamcast Communicators, ang naiiba at kakaibang plataforma sa digital broadcast. Mula Luzon, Visayas, Mindanao hanggang sa iba't ibang dako ng mundo. Broad Streamcast Communicators, ang sandigan ng sambayanan mula sa walang labis at walang kulang na pagbabalita, paglilingkod, maglalahad ng mga mapagbuong komentaryo at usaping pambayan para sa kapakanan ng karamihan. Broad Streamcast Communicators, tuwirang maglilingkod ngayon hanggang sa susunod na henerasyon. Buhay Online, chikahan at kaalamang pangkabuhayan. Ating tunghayan, pakinggan at tuklasin ang mga pangyayari at kaganapan sa mundo ng online. Buhay Online, chikahan at kaalamang pangkabuhayan. Alamin ang pinaka-latest trends mula sa trabaho at kung hanggang saan na ang narating ng teknolohiyang ito. At ngayon, narito na ang ating host, ang ating Techie Mami, si Jaye C. Bautista.
Hi, hello, happy Monday to everyone. It's Monday, July 19. Tapos na naman po ang weekend, isang weekend para sa ating lahat. And we are still talking about online education dahil nga, of course, we na-decide na hindi, sa itong bagong school year na 2021-2022, ay wala pang face-to-face classes, di ba? Yan ang na-declare, yan ang na-decide. But ito pang news ko ngayon, ito, classes in Philippines to open September 13. O yan nga, right? Yan ang na-decide na ang ating, di ba kasi ang Pangulo ay binigyan ng tatlong dates, August 26, September 6, tsaka September 13. Pero, yan na nga, dinicide na, okay, ng Pangulo, for classes, last July 16, ito yung classes in the Philippines are to open September 13, okay? Limited face-to-face classes in the upcoming school year remains a possibility. Tingnan natin kung mag-adjust, di ba? Kasi, last June 22, dinicide na hindi muna mag-face-to-face lessons kahit na sa mga low-risk areas. Pero, you know, we don't know. Maybe bubuti ang situation because nga nararami na dumadami na yung mga nababakunahan. So, it's still a looming possibility na baka magkaroon ng limited face-to-face classes in the coming months, right? The Department of Education, or DepEd, said last Friday, July 16, that President Duterte has chosen September 13 as the opening date for school year 2021-2022. So, may bakasyon na ngayon ang ating mga anak. So, may isang buwan pa sila, actually more than a month, para magbakasyon. Almost 2 months, right? Na bakasyon, summer vacation. The school year calendar for 2021-22 will be released soon. Okay, sabi nila ng DepEd, we are hoping that our stakeholders' continued cooperation and support as we prepare for another challenging yet worthwhile endeavor of educating our children amid a global health crisis. Itong sabi ni Secretary Leonor Briones in a statement last Friday. Briones held a press briefing last July 14, and she said that limited face-to-face classes in the upcoming school year still remains a big possibility as DepEd anticipates the vaccination of teachers and students against COVID-19. Yan na nga, hindi natin masasabi na, di ba, paiba-iba naman din, pati ang Pangulo natin, paiba-iba yung decision, at saka habang bumubuti yung situation, baka nga magkaroon ng limited face-to-face classes in the next coming months or in the future. Itong school year na to. So, looming possibility rin to. Okay? So, di ba, kinamusta natin, ang Philippine education, itong pandemic, kinamusta natin yan itong past 2 weeks, kung anong situation sa Pilipinas ng mga nag-aaral. Nung June, last June, okay, The DepEd said that the private schools may already start their classes for school year 2021-2022, even while the approval of the general school opening was pending. Oo nga, sinabi nga yan, pero wala naman masyadong gumawa nun kasi nga kailangan pa rin mag-prepare ng mga materials, mga na kailangan, right? So I don't know because ang Ateneo hindi naman pa nag-uumpisa ng school year. But I think, yun na nga, pinayagan yung mga ibang private schools to start their classes for school year 2020-22, 21-20 to 2022 earlier. Pending nga the nationwide announcement na September 13 na ang umpisa ng eskwela. So, yung mga ibang private school, pwede silang mag-umpisa ng mas maaga kung gusto nila, right? The DepEd reminded school administrators that face-to-face classes, of course, are still not allowed, and these schools should implement the distance learning system. So, pwede nang mag-umpisa ang school year 2021-2022, pero distance learning pa rin, okay? Wala pang pwedeng pumasok sa eskwelahan, okay? Due to the continuing threat of the pandemic, most schools in the country will again use, if not all, the distance learning system, of course, which is, of course, a mix of online classes and printed learning modules, okay? Following the President's directive to suspend face-to-face classes, okay, until nga, di ba, a vaccine is made. Pero meron na nga tayong vaccine. But because nga of the emergence of the new variant, which is the Delta variant, tsaka yun na nga nauna na yung UK variant, tapos ito ngayon fast spreading the Delta variant, minabuti ng ating Pangulo na wag na lang mag-limited face-to-face classes kahit na sa mga low-risk areas. Kasi nga, nandyan yung bagong virus na hindi pa natin alam kung ganong effect ng vaccine dyan towards this virus, right? They're still being tested. It's still being tested yung efficacy. Last June, the country approved Pfizer and BioNTech's COVID-19 vaccine emergency use for adolescents aged 12 to 15. Yun na nga, pinayagan na ito ang administer sa mga kabataan. The health department said, however, that vulnerable populations remain the priority due to the limited supply of vaccines, okay? So, inuuna muna siyempre yung mga merong comorbidity, inuuna muna yung may mga senior citizen, of course, yung mga bata, last priority yan. Kasi it's been known na hindi sila masyadong na-infect or kaagad nakakapitan nitong virus, right? The Philippine Food and Drug Administration on July 7 said that it started looking into whether or not Sinovac's COVID-19 vaccine can be used for children aged 3 to 17. China allowed the use of the Sinovac vaccine among kids sa China noong June, with the company saying the jab successfully triggered an immune response among the age group with only mild adverse reactions reported. If given approval, this would be a welcome development as the country has a stockpile of Sinovac vaccines. Diba nga kasi binigyan tayo ng libre ng China, bumili pa tayo ng Sinovac. Distance learning had been widely criticized as the Philippines appeared unprepared for it. Well, yun na nga, alam na, nangyari na nga yun. At saka hindi lang naman Philippines. I'm sure yung mga ibang bansa rin, especially third world, struggling. In fact, nga ang Japan, hindi nga sila nag-online education at all, except for yung kanilang university students, which I found so odd. The whole time, Japan allowed their children to go to school every day in crowded classrooms, in fact, nagkaroon ako ng estudyante, dalawa sa kindergarten tsaka elementary, nagka-COVID sila. Siguro, nahawa nila yun sa teacher nila, I don't know. But see, kids can get it too. Any age can get it too. Pero yun na nga, hindi sila nag-stop ng face-to-face schooling except for yung university students. Nakakatawa nga yung university students nila, hindi nila pinapasok sa eskwela. Pero yung mga high school, tsaka elementary, tsaka kindergarten, pwede. Kasi lahat yun, economic move because ayaw nilang ma-infringe sa magulang yung hindi pagpasok ng mga bata. Kasi sa Japan ngayon, both parents work na. Even the housewives work kahit part-time. So, para yung economy hindi ma-efektuhan ng walang nagtatrabaho, yun, pinapasok pa rin yung mga bata. Anyway, so, and ngayon gumagrabe ang situation sa Japan, especially sa Osaka at Tokyo. Ang spread ng virus is still ongoing, like thousands a day. And at the same time, i-hold pa yung Olympics, di ba? Ang weird talaga. Such bad timing, don't you think? But anyway, bansa nila yon, buntot nila, hila nila, yun ang decision nila eh, na kahit na may pandemya, mag-Olympics pa rin. And in the beginning pa nga, dilidali sila, they wanted to have an audience of at least 10 to 20,000 people. Tapos last minute, dinicide, wala na, virtual na lang lahat ng panonood. I was just talking to a student, ang ticket pala is, one ticket to an opening is 350,000 yen. Tapos yung ibang regular show sa mga 150,000 daw ang bayad. So I guess that's about 1,500 dollars ba yun? I don't know how much yung conversion ng yen. Pero ganun kamahal yung mga tickets. Anyway, going back to our subject, no? Yun na nga. So, yung tungkol sa pagbabakuna ng mga bata, yun, baka pag na-approve yung Sinovac, pwede na rin yung mga estudyante, mga mas mababatang mga kabataan, like the children will be able, just in case na mag-back to school na, right? Sana mabakunahan na rin sila, right? Sabi ng DepEd, the DepEd said that the distance learning pa rin ang gagamitin nitong school year na to. Tsaka sabi ng DepEd, it was preparing for the delivery of quality education no matter what the circumstances will be in the coming months. Okay? Enhanced blended distance learning, syempre, continues to be the way we are educating our students. Okay? Tayong magagawa doon. This is how we are living right now. This is how we are studying right now. Okay? Tapos, last time kasi a lot of people were asking, some people even text to ask, kasi nga, the kids studying online have their struggles. And I, for one, experienced this from my son, di ba? First-hand information yan sa anak ko na they have struggles studying online. Whether or not, I don't know, matalino ka or hindi, basta there are struggles, okay? So, ano yung impact of online schooling to Filipino students? We talked about that, right? Here in the Philippines kasi, we all know that the effect of COVID-19 affected the education of the Filipinos in a big way. When the president decided to close the schools in March of last year, yun na nga, we all know na hindi tayo ready to transition from face-to-face to online, pero ginawa, kaagad tuloy nagmadali because sinara yung mga eskwela. Wala tayong choice, right? And in this case, Filipino parents chose to enroll their children yung mga nakaka-afford sa online schooling. But the bigger majority, of course, opted for the modules type of learning, which is yung mga printed materials, okay? Kasi nga, our government decided not to open all the schools in the Philippines. So, because they want all the Filipinos to be safe, pati mga teachers. But, because it's still spreading. And now, a year and a half after this pandemic, we are still, and based on the latest directive from the president, as of last Friday, wala pa rin face-to-face studies ang mangyayari. Itong bagong school year na 2021-2022, right? Ano ang effect ng online learning sa mga estudyante? Well, iba-iba mixed emotions. When it says kasi online school or online education, syempre obviously kailangan natin ng internet connection and requires high learning from the online institution. There are many ways kasi, no, that na pwedeng magturo online. Pero yun na nga ang nangyari, yung ating mga guro, yung mga materials, it needed time to transition. Nagkulang sa training, minadali, pero yun na nga, nagpa-enroll pa rin. Akong sarili ko talagang example dyan is talaga yung anak ko hindi natuwa sa quality ng education, ng teaching na binigay nung nag-dry run ng Ateneo by offering intercession. And Ateneo na yun, hindi pa rin, hindi, yung mga ibang teachers, hindi tech savvy, hindi na prepare materials, but at the same time, it's actually the feeling of not being in school and being at home. Nakaka-affect talaga yan. Naka-affect yan ng mga estudyante in a way na emotionally or psychologically nagkaroon ng effect, right? But we tried our best, of course, at dapat and DepEd in cooperation with the schools, okay? By now, dapat, okay, ayos na yan. Mga materials, kasi, online digital materials or yung modules na nagkaroon din ng mga problema, kulang yung pinrint at the same time, mali-mali pa yung ibang pinrint, right? May mga, hindi lang typos yun eh. Those were great, glaring mistakes like in the copy, in the text, yung information na tinuturo, mali yung sulat. So that I think that's major, okay? So kinorek, nag-apologize, pero sana wala nang mga maling makita sa mga lesson materials, especially the modules. Okay? Meron akong nabasang article, no? Yung ano ang mga nafe-feel ng mga yung mga anxieties na nag-aaral online or distance learning, even if it's modular or online. Ang isang sa pinaka reklamo or gripe ng mga nag-aaral online is yung pagod. Yeah, we talked about that last week in passing, di ba? Ano yung mga stresses ng mga nag-aaral ng distance learning? It's the exhaustion because, yun na nga, like I said, like yung modules, they are given 8 modules a week to accomplish, and each module has about 3 to 5 activities that dapat mong gawin sa module na yun. Now overwhelmed sa tasks yung mga bata. And ganun din online, like I said, my son, they're given material to read, they're given projects to work on, at a short timetable, tsaka madami. Pero, yun nga, wala namang physical or masyadong interaction with the teacher. Basically, kagaya nun nga, once a week mo nang nakikita yung teacher, tapos bibigay assignment, hindi pa nag-check ng attendance. So, yung motivation talaga affected. At the same time, napakadaming binibigay na homework or tasks to do or activities to do. And doon na nga yung sa na-mention natin, doon nangyayari tuloy yung digital dishonesty or yung academic cheating kasi yung because pwede kang mag-Google, pwede kang magbayad ng taong gagawa ng homework mo or gagawa ng project mo, nangyayari tuloy yan because hindi natin sila nakikita, hindi natin naman monitor yung pag-aaral nila. And then in some cases pa nga, di ba, I said, yung mga magulang ang gumagawa ng homework. Kasi ang daming, masyado naawa sa anak nila, ang dami-daming gagawin, ang dami-daming pinagagawa. So, they end up helping them, right? They end up actually doing the actual homework for their children. Okay, I'd like to greet, of course, the Tita Agnes Lakap and the Maniago family there in the barrio who always support us in our shows. Thank you very much. And also, of course, to our regular viewers and listeners, no? Maraming salamat. Tapos inaayos po namin ngayon ang aming mga plataforma dito sa Broad Streamcast Communicators because we have new players, we have new hosts and commentators and new programs po. Pinagbubuti po namin mabuti, tsaka nasa YouTube na po kami for those na nakakamiss ng aming mga ibang episodes and broadcasts. And we're all fixing our platforms para at least maging mas informative at mas interactive po ang aming mga programa. Okay? Pinag-uusapan pa rin po natin ng online education at distance learning sa Pilipinas because it really greatly affects the school-going individuals of our country. Yun na nga kasi talaga meron pang mga problema na about that at saka we'd like to give information and tips on how to deal with the stresses of studying online tsaka distance learning. Kasi nga, talaga, sa ibang countries nga, talagang, it brought about a lot of grief and ang tawag dito na depressed ang mga estudyante. Sa Japan nga may mga nag-suicide pa or other places. Ayoko nang sabihin yan kasi ayoko nang magbigay ng idea na ganyan sa mga nakikinig. Because they can deal with these stresses. You just have to talk to them and make them change their mindset about studying. Alam ko it will never be the same, lalo-lalo na nga yung mga university students na syempre ang gusto nilang college life is university campus. All of a sudden, yun na nga, sa kwarto mo ikaw or sa bahay or sa sulok ng bahay mo ikaw nag-aaral. Yun na nga yung palagi ko naalala yung sinabi ng anak ko, Mommy, I didn't dream of having a degree or finishing, getting a, getting a degree studying in my bedroom. Well, di naman natin expect tong pandemic, right? So, what are we to do except, of course, deal with it and live with it, right? Okay? Ano naman yan eh, the effect of online schooling, okay, iba-iba for different people, okay? But, of course, this is the only way we are studying right now. That's why we have to deal with it and help our children cope with it, okay? Some of them kasi, the behavior of the children and how they really focus on learning on online education totally also really depends on yung demeanor tsaka talaga yung attitude ng anak nyo towards going to school. Like I always say, whether it's going to school online or going to the actual university, ang pinaka-importante pa kasi yung attitude ng anak mo towards studying. I believe that kung talagang gustong mag-aral, right, whether or not it's online or in the university, nandiyan pa rin talaga yung intent ng tao na makapag-aral. Pero, okay, I have to hand it to them. Talaga naman, it's brought about some disparity, hindi lang in digital divide, dahil hindi lahat ng tao pwede mag-aral online kasi nga because of incapacities like funding or like yung gadgets, walang internet. Kaya nga, may iba-ibang ways tayo para magpatuloy mag-aral ng anak natin, which is yung modular, yung radio or TV, they learn from the TV shows na gano'n, at saka yung radio broadcasting. Pero kasi nga, yung mga naman naka-online, syempre, tsaka nagkakaroon din ng effect yan doon sa mga estudyante na, sila nakakaaral sila online, nakakausap nila yung teacher virtually, pero kami, nagmo-module, nakita tuloy yung difference, then lumaki yung difference or na-elevate or parang na-highlight yung diferensya ng nga yung nakaka-afford at hindi nakaka-afford. Pero, ang importante kasi is at least makaaral ang mga bata at hindi ma-stop yung kanilang pag-aaral just because of the pandemic, right? And, our government naman is trying because I told you nga, sa Japan, hindi sila nag-online education kasi ayaw nilang mga bata nagsistay sa bahay. At the same time, yun na nga, meron din naman mga prefectures doon or probinsya na walang masyadong internet. Tsaka hindi nila ayaw ng gobyerno nilang na i-provide yung mga bata ng tablets. Sa atin nga, di ba, some areas may mga nag-donate ng tablet, pero ang problema naman doon yung internet, which is ang ginagawa nila, yun na, bumibili ng data, yung gamit sa telepono, ginagawa na lang nilang, sinishare na lang nila yung internet na yun. Pero, diba, that also has cost because you have to keep loading and loading para ka makapag online ng 3 hours, ubusin mo rin talaga yung load. So, how do we go about that? Well, we gave tips on how to deal with that, of course. Kaya nga most of the learners nowadays are opting for modular learning kasi nga hindi lahat may internet, hindi lahat, and if yun na nga, may mga ibang school, may mga ibang areas sa Philippines na may nag-donate ng mga cellphone, may nag-donate ng mga tablet. Sana ganun na lang din. Maraming we have to yung mga ibang schools, they made their own fund drives para ma-sustain ang online education. Sana yung ating gobyerno yun makatanggap tayo ng mga donations ng mga cellphone or tablets. Pero ang of course, ang pinaka main concern dyan yung connectivity yung internet, yung data. Yun. Sa mga prepaid ginagamit, may cost din yun, of course. You know, ang effect ng online school, some good and bad nga marami, di ba? Yung time commitment, okay? Sa online schooling kasi, the student can choose the time and the schedule of what they want, and it also depends on the availability. Pero because nga, supposedly, parang kunyaring normal school yon, yung schools nyo, sila ng course may gagawa ng schedule, especially sa university students. Pero like my son nga said kung kanyari nag-enroll ka, ito yung mga subjects na nakalagay doon sa in-enroll mo, hindi naman nasunod yun pag actually pagpasok na ng school year, na iba pa rin daw kasi the teachers change the schedule or biglang iba yung teacher. Because nga, I think that is happening because nag-evolve pa rin yung online education. Pati yung mga materials, pati yung mga teachers, nag-aaral pa rin. So, while when you go on regular schooling, the school gives you the schedule, depends on the grades you are in or your year. You also have a face-to-face with your teachers and classmates and have communication with them, of course, on a regular basis sa school. Pero of course, sa online, sinabi natin last week, pwede naman na rin ma-achieve yun di ba? Yung mga teachers, they should let their students know that they can be available to be conferred with. Diba, gumawa kayo ng online schedule para kayo pwede makausap ng mga estudyante nyo or mag-chat kayo kasi hindi kayo pwede naman mag-usap ng harapan. Set a schedule for your students so that you can be available for them, okay? In the Philippines, students are going to school to study and learn, okay? Yung mga Filipino parents kasi, gusto nila yung mga anak nila to finish their studies and perhaps lalo na ngayon sa less fortunate, yun na ang magulang, kunyari hindi nakatapos, that is their dream for their children, right? Para makaahon sa kahirapan, para makakuha ng mabuting trabaho, right? Para they won't go through the same plight that their parents had siguro sa mga hindi nakapagtapos, right? Excuse me. Typical Filipino parents want their children to finish their studies to have a better future. And it is traditional thinking of all Filipinos for their children, right? Siguro hindi lang naman Filipino, kahit sinong magulang, di ba yun naman ang wish para sa anak niya. But somehow, due to this pandemic that happened sa buong mundo, some of Filipino traditional learning was not practiced because of the issues we are facing right now. However, yun na nga nagpunta tayo sa online, wala tayong magagawa, we all have to adjust. This kind of problem that we have now, not all Filipinos nga kasi were able to enroll last year because nga sa kakulangan ng funds, tsaka sa kakulangan ng capacity to do online. At the same time, even yung modular, inisip ng mga ibang magulang last year na baka antayin na lang natin na mag face-to-face ulit kasi hindi natin alam kung paano makakapag-aral ng hindi ka nagsuskwela or pumapasok, yung teacher, hindi mo nakakausap. So, about 3 million people or 3 million students didn't enroll last year, right? Kasi nga, some Filipino families cannot afford, okay, to have their children do online schooling. Like I said, some of the people I know even took out their children from private school and transferred them to public school itong pandemic kasi inisip na mahal na yung tuition, sayang. Tapos yung quality ng education, iba. Well, talk to me about it, right? Like yung ate na yun, hindi naman sila nag-discount kahit online studies na Pero yun, nagre-reklamo pa rin mga bata na medyo, the quality of the lessons or the material or how it is delivered or how it is taught ay hindi masyadong efficient. Okay? Filipinos, however, in this kind of problem that we have now, not all Filipino students have enrolled na because of the economic crisis and due to the family background. Some Filipino families had problems because they have no internet or kailangan pa nila, of course, hiramin yung cellphone ng mommy at daddy nila na hindi magamit bigla sa trabaho kasi yung mga anak nag-aaral sa cellphone. It's really, it was really a concern kung paano, it was impossible to have all the students study online because nga of physical incapacities or practical incapacities like not having the money or not having the computer, tablet, or laptop because they can't afford to buy, right? One other thing naman that's good about online education is online classes have less contact compared to regular ones. Pero kasi nga, kaya naman ginawa yan dahil sa social distancing, di ba? Kaya sinarado yung mga eskwela because ayaw nga ng ating Pangulo na ma-infect kahit sino, guro or student or parent, okay? Online classes have less contact compared to regular ones that have access to instructors and classmates as traditional face-to-face classes. The communication on online classes typically only on video chat and through email. They can interact through social media using some web links on a computer or laptop or tablet. This kind of online classes is now leading because of modern technology. It can, excuse me, it will be easier for people to communicate and see people without direct contact. Modern technology kasi talaga right now really helps in anything you want to learn or, thank God for technology na nangyari itong pandemya na to. Isipin nyo na lang kung nung araw, right, nung nangyari yung mga plague, wala naman silang social media na pwedeng takasan, right? Or wala naman silang mga Viber groups or WhatsApp na pwede mag-discuss ng things, right? So thank God for technology that this happened at this time. That's why we are able to cope, even a little better, okay? Yung social interaction naman, di ba, pinag-usapan natin. Due to the country's condition, Filipinos must follow the rules that our government issued. It is to have direct, less contact with people around the country. So, hindi pinayagan yung palipat-lipat ka ng probinsya, not unless, MGCQ to, di ba, for a long time, NCR was in modified ECQ. Pero pinayagan na ngayon lumabas sa mga bata, right? That's why nakikita nyo sa mga videos, sa mga news. Pero ano naman talaga parang nakakawala sa koral yung mga Pilipino nung pinayagan talaga. Sige na sa mall, meron na yung mga bit-bit na yung mga bagets, mga babies nila. But that was a good, for the people, for their psyche, parang feeling nila, nagiging mas normal na a little bit, unti-unti. Kasi nga nararami na yung nababakunahan din sa atin. Pero hindi tayo dapat maging complacent, my dears, really. The virus is there and even more viruses are out there. So we still really have to be careful and wear masks when we're outside. Kasi, tsaka even if nabakunahan na kayo, hindi naman yan guarantee na hindi na kayo magkaka-COVID. Dahil ako, may mga kilala ko na nabakuna na, tapos nagkaroon ng COVID after nakabakuna na. Pero yun lang nga, naka-recover agad. It wasn't a serious case. It didn't become a serious case. Nag-quarantine lang sa bahay para gumaling. Okay na. Kasi truth be told, hindi lahat ng nagpa-positive sa COVID tinatanggap sa ospital para i-admit. No. Because there are mild cases and there are graver cases. And they only take in yung mga serious cases talaga. Lalo na yung mga kailangan intubate. Pero actually, I've known people who have recovered from COVID-19 just by quarantining themselves, by doing quarantine at home for 2 weeks and just be diligent about it. At saka sinabayan ng inom ng linwa. Ayun, gumaling. Alright? Thank you so much for the viewers who are here with me today. Maraming salamat po sa support. At pinag-uusapan pa rin po natin ng online learning. At ano yung mga, di ba sinabi ko, ang reklamo ng mga nag-aaral online, exhaustion, napapagod sila, okay? Exhaustion is the top emotion students feel amid shift to online classes, okay? Yung Veritas, nag-conduct sila ng test, alright? Kasi many Filipino students feel exhausted with the conduct of online classes according to a survey conducted by church-run Radio Veritas. Okay, the Veritas Truth Survey released last Tuesday showed that 34% of Filipino students said they feel tired or exhausted with their online classes, while 30% said they were anxious. Okay, 10% of the respondents, meanwhile, said they feel frustrated with online classes, while 8% feel determined, one of the two positive emotions in the survey. 7% of the participants were feeling disappointed sa online learning. 6% feel sad, while 5% expressed happiness, the only other positive emotion based on this Radio Veritas survey. Okay? Gusto niyo makita yung survey? Okay, hold on. I have to pick it up. Hold on. Patience lang po. I will get it. Okay. Hindi naman ako masyadong mabagal mag-cut and paste. But, okay. So, here it is. Ay, mali. Dali lang, ha? Sorry. Okay. Ay, mali. Mali pa rin. Ano ba yan? Because I'm looking at the wrong thing. Okay. Here it is. Okay. Where did I go? Okay. So let's just crop this up. So we're talking about surveys, no? Kung ano-ano yung mga, ayan. So ulitin ko lang, ha? Let me just pick it up. Hold on. It's a grid. Okay. Sensya na, sorry. Okay, I'm gonna put it up on the board so that you can see what I'm talking about. Okay? Please, be patient lang po with me. Bear with me. Hello sa mga kakarating lang. So what did I do about this? What did I call it? Online grid. It's in the wrong place naman. Online grid. There you go, I found it. Okay, so we got it. Okay, there you go. What? Bakit kaya? What happened? Doesn't want to take it. Browse. Sorry, wag na nga natin lagay. It's taking too much time. What happened? Anyway, never forget it. I'll just talk about it na lang kasi naguguluhan na ako dito. Okay, so going back to what I was saying, yung tungkol sa, ayun, yung survey na ginawa ng Radio Veritas, okay? Showed 30% of Filipino students said they feel exhausted with their online classes, while 30% said they were anxious, okay? 10% ng mga rumesponde, sinabi, they feel frustrated with online classes, while 8% feel determined, one of the two positive emotions in that survey. 7% of the participants were feeling disappointed with online learning, 6% feel sad, while 5% expressed happiness, the only other positive emotion na nakuha dito sa survey na to. Sabi ni Brother Clifford Surita, ng head ng Veritas Truth Society, he said students feel frustrated and anxious mainly because of an overly increase in academic workload. Ayan na naman. See, bumabalik tayo dyan eh. Masyado kasing mabigat yung mga lessons na or mga homework or mga projects or mga tasks na binibigay nyo, mga guro, mga eskwela, please, re-examine naman ninyo, i-adjust nyo yung material. Iba ang tinuturo sa face-to-face, iba yung i-adjust nyo yan sa digital. Right? Please. Ulit-ulit kasi yung mababasa kong ang reklamo ay tungkol sa workload. Reklamo ay tungkol sa dami ng masyadong gagawin. Okay? Alright? Students feel frustrated talaga and anxious mainly because of an overwhelming increase in academic workload and unstable internet pa to boot, right? That hampers their participation sa online classes. Hindi mo sila masisisi. A comment ng marami sa correspondents, medyo dumagsa yung volume ng trabaho. The comment of, yan ang sinabi nitong survey ng Radio Veritas, ang reklamo ng mga estudyante, mas dumami yung trabaho kaysa sa face-to-face, sa online or modular, right? Students kasi also feel peer support. while others find it difficult to learn their lessons by themselves. And Surita, who is also a sabi ni Surita, who is also a sociologist and a professor. Yun na nga di ba? Because hindi nila kayang gawin yun, napakaraming homework, napakaraming tasks on their own, they'll end up making pagawa to others, if not their parents, yun nga, to pay someone to help them with the schoolwork, okay? When you are in school, okay, you have at least your classmates, your friends, and of course the teachers to confer with. They are trained to really help you on the learning process. With online, it's somewhat self-learning that we're trying to do talaga naman most often than not. It's actually, you're on your own. Self-learning is important. Kung magaling ka naman mag-isa, okay lang. Pero what about yung hindi nga? Nasanay na nakikiconfer sa classmate or sa teacher. Okay? With online, it's somewhat self-learning. It is every way self-learning. Though some parents are there are also limitations to what parents can assist their children with, especially with the higher grade levels. Talaga, yun na nga, nung sinabi sa akin ng Ateneo na ang mga parents, okay, will play the role of monitor mo yung pag-aaral ng anak mo. Hello, yung mga college students, pwede mo ba naman yung bantayan na habang nagle-lesson sila? At saka hindi. May trabaho rin tayong mga magulang, right? So it was very hard to monitor if your son was studying or watching Netflix or playing, League of Legends or whatever, right? Public school students are also burdened with additional expenses that they have incurred sa online learning. If you go online, say if you use your video cam, it consumes your data and therefore more expensive for them. Kasi nga, yung video calls, yung Zoom, ganyan, it eats up the data and the bandwidth, right? So, kailangan load ka ng load sa card mo. Okay? Sinabi pa ni Sorita ng Radyo Veritas, yung survey na ginawa nila was a cause of concern since learning cannot be fully efficient if students feel tired. Talaga naman itong major nating subject dito, they're saying that exhaustion is one of the biggest reklamo ng mga nag-aaral, distance learning, okay? Learning is supposed to be fun, di ba? We learn well if there's a level of excitement and a fun and level enthusiasm. Totoo nga yan Pero pag na-demoralize, hindi na demotivate, yun na nga. Ang nangyayari, downhill spike, right? Feeling nila yung materials hindi up to par. At the same time, sila rin, they feel inadequate because hindi nila kayang gawin lahat. Okay? Sabi ng survey dito ng Radio Veritas, elementary school students are happier. Well, nakikita ko rin nga online din ganyan Yung mga bata nag-enjoy ng interactivity. Yung mga elementary, mga kindergarten, kasi kanta-kanta sila, tingin ng graphics, especially kung magaling nga yung gumawa ng yung mga video gumagalaw-galaw, yun, nag-enjoy sila. Pero, di ba, ang hirap ng university students, right? The survey also showed that happiness was the top emotion felt by elementary school students in online classes, chosen by 35% of the respondents. This was followed by exhaustion at 25% and disappointment at 20%. Nakagaya nga na sinabi ko yun, yung mga nag-online, yung mga magulang, i-on lang nila dyan, bahala na yung teacher or bahala na yung recording, masaya na yung mga bata, basta nakikita na may mga graphics na engaging, okay yan sa kanila. Okay? Pero yun na nga, and bumabalik tayo sa fact na yung exhaustion tsaka anxiety or desperation is nagiging mataas ang percentage sa mga nag-aaral ng distance learning. Exhaustion was the leading emotion among high school students at 49%, while it was anxiety among college students at 51%. Diba? See? So bottom line, problema pa rin. Diba? It's because lessons are more difficult as the year level goes up. The survey, which started a stratified sample of 1,200 respondents nationwide with a negative 3% margin of error, was conducted from June 20 to July 10. Okay? The information was gathered through text-based and online data gathering. Noong late October, the DepEd urged schools to lessen the burden that students and teachers experience with distance learning, which was implemented after government banned in-person classes due to the coronavirus pandemic. Pero yun naman talaga, you have to give it time, di ba? You have to give it time, as in anything. Of course, the government only means well to protect us, our children from getting infected and the teachers. That's why sila na yung eskwela. But like I said, yung mga mindset ang importante, that paalam natin sa ating mga anak na nag-aaral na ito na nga ang kailangan nating buhay ngayon ay ito. This is what the present situation is, and if you want to study, you have to compromise, or you have to make things work for you studying online, kasi that is the only way that's available right now. Okay? Kaya nga paulit-ulit sinasabi sa mga guro, give a reasonable workload for your students, right? Teachers are urged to please avoid burnout sa mga estudyante nyo. The DepEd reminded you to give a reasonable amount of schoolwork kasi na-overwhelm ang mga bata. Sobrang dami, sabay-sabay. Kaya nga nangyayari yun, pinapagawa nila, naaawa na yung nanay tumutulong or pinagagawa sa iba yung kanilang homework. I also want to greet pala happy birthday to Robert Leong last July 16. Happy birthday to my kumarang Sarah Garcia de la Rosa last July 10. Okay? Kung hindi ko sila pinabati ko sila ulit ngayon. Okay? And I just have a sip of juice of the dry and throat. Okay. So, para sa di ba? Sa mga nag-aaral at ng distance learning, yun na lang ang nating maaaring gawin. Kausapin sila para maintindihan nila na ito yung sitwasyon ngayon. Pero yun na nga rin, yung mga teachers ulit, pinapaalala ko naman na please, or even the DepEd, they should coordinate with teachers and tell them that to avoid burnout, bigyan nyo naman ng reasonable workload yung mga estudyante, no? Kasi sila na po mismo ang mag-agree kung ano yung reasonable workload, kasi ayaw naman natin yung excitement ng mga bata na matuto ay ma-convert into burnout, di ba? So please, among yourselves, okay, the academe, just please adjust your school materials to avoid burnout from the students, okay? Kasi nga, it's up to the teachers to agree on the reasonable workload, because we wouldn't want the children's excitement to learn and to have fun to be converted into burnout. Kung ano lang yung kaya ng mga bata, yan lang munang isubmit. Hindi naman ito dapat panahon na isaksak niyo lahat sa isang, lalo na alam naman ng lahat na kailangan pa tayo, nag-a-adjust pa tayong lahat, right? So, let the children submit whatever they can. Okay, now is not the time to be super strict. We have to be actually flexible nowadays, right? So please, teachers, avoid giving your students additional schoolwork to be done during the weekend, kasi na-overwhelm na yan eh. Ang dami-dami na, no, di ba? Na masyadong ginagawa. Okay? Okay, so sabi ng DepEd, some 24.8 million learners have enrolled in the basic education system this year. Di mabuti naman, right? Well, ang pinaka-ano rin kasi talaga dyan is the connectivity issue, right? Which we have to continuously address at continuously batiin para bumuti. Kasi nga, dyan nagkakatalo, dyan nagkakaano ng problema pag wala silang connectivity. Alright? So, tomorrow we will talk about how to improve your student engagement in virtual classrooms. Okay, para rin yung sa mga guro. Kasi ating mga binibigyan information ngayon, lalo-lalo na about distance learning, applies to both the students, the parents, and the teacher. Okay? Because lahat tayo affected niyan. Alright? So, what makes a successful online learner? Okay? We will talk about that more tomorrow, so that you can be successfully studying online, so that you can make things work for you, we will give you some tips on how to relax and just enjoy the situation, or actually live with the situation. Okay? So for any questions po, please feel free to field your questions through my messenger or through my Facebook account, JC Bautista, or of course dito sa Broad Streamcast Communicators, right? Sana po tulungan niyo po kaming magpatuloy magbigay ng kaalaman at informasyon para sa inyo, especially now po na nasa YouTube na rin kami. Ang Broad Streamcast Communicators has its own YouTube channel wherein you can view our past episodes po sa mga at balikan yung mga na-miss nyo about us, okay? Tapos sana po, pag makapunta kayo dun sa aming YouTube channel, please like and subscribe and share, alright? So para mas marami pa yung maabot namin na matulungan sa mga binibigyan namin impormasyon. Alright, so of course, ang pinaka-issue sa online learning is internet connectivity, right? Kasi yan ang nakitang problema last year eh. Nung nag-transition sa online, biglang nataranta na lahat. At the same time nga yun, pagka ang data mo or yung connection mo mahina, magsasuffer talaga yung education. Especially for those, I see people learning from cell phones or from tablets. Ang liit-liit, right? Na-confuse ka na dun. But anyway, so that's in summary for today. We talked about online education and how it's being done in our schools and what we're going through because of it. This week, we're also going to talk about learning management systems. These are the systems that people use when learning online, because it's very important also to learn how we go about studying online and how, kunyari, we are dealing with pitfalls about it. Kasi sa atin, bagong mundo pa rin ito eh. No? Yung pag-aaral online or even yung working from home. Na in America, practice na ito noon pa, yung pagtatrabaho sa bahay. But anyway, that is for another episode, working from home. Okay? Because today we are dealing with distance learning per se. Okay. Is online schooling a big help to the Filipino students? Well, of course, it's not easier to study online. Online institutions must meet with the same quality requirements as regular schooling. Somehow, it is more difficult than going to school regularly. Why? Well, with the advancement of online learning technologies, like yung mga learning management systems, mga app software, students must learn fast and have enhanced how to operate laptops and computers. Yun na nga, kala ng matatanda kasi, uy, pag millennial, uy, pag anak ko, Gen Z, ano na yan, tech savvy. Hindi ko na kailangang matuto yan dahil alam na niya yan. Well, don't assume, because not everyone is technically sound or good with gadgets or much less have gadgets. Okay? With the advancement, kasi students must learn fast, right? It also provides kailangan na alam nila kung anong mga tamang app or mga software na gagamitin sa kanilang pag-aaral. Right? So, online schooling needs proper equipment to use. Diba? It is, in these modern days, we are now living in modern technologies that most people are capable of using it. Pero, hindi natin pwedeng i-assume na lahat marunong mag-computer, lahat, di ba nga, yung mga teachers, kailangan pala nila mag-train. Ganun din, hindi lahat ng mag-aaral ay tech savvy or mahusay. It's okay, show naman, hindi kailangan mag-dukwang. Mag-hi ka lang. Ayan, dumaan na yung aking better half, okay? So, online education can help Filipino students in many different ways. Not only them, but all people can really rely on technology naman kasi. But, like I said, you have to make technology work for you. And in this case, online learning really requires a lot of knowledge din, tsaka dapat din you always also manage your stress, and you change your mindset, right? Dapat mo talaga ready ka na to think na I am studying online, this is my school for now, okay? Ang benefits naman, marami namang benefits sa online education. Of course, it's the flexibility in the learning system, yung time management, opportunities na marami mong rin nakikita online because you can search, you can seek, you can study beyond your classroom or beyond your school time because andyan dyan yung internet, andyan dyan online, it's a vast world that you can get information from. Wala na nga mga encyclopedia. Ayun doon na yung encyclopedia mo, nasa internet. Pero yun na nga, some schools, kagaya ng school na anak ko, nag-charge na ng library fee. Kasi nga, meron din online library where the students can access a lot of materials that they can use for their studying. Okay? Access to social networking, of course. Self-motivation, well, yun na nga, kanya-kanya yan. Pwede mong gamitin for good or pwede kang gamitin na ma-depress. Nasa sa'yo, choice mo yan. But the best choice to have is of course to want to learn, to want to study. Kaya ka nag-online learning or nag-modular kasi gusto mong patuloy ka mag-aral. Ayaw mong huminto. And ito binibigay nga nitong opportunity nito by distance learning. Okay? And of course, you can have a wider global perspective if you study online. You'll have a better understanding of the world and the other people and other people's cultures. There's a competitive learning environment man naman kahit online, right? Kasi pag nag-discuss kayo sa mga chat rooms nyo or sa mga iba-iba ninyong rooms or groups, okay? And of course, it also encourages self-learning, right? At present, the Philippines is still affected by, of course, the pandemic. And all the Filipinos and the economy are facing a difficult situation that we did not expect. With online school, a child is enrolled as they would be at a regular school. Okay? The DepEd in the Philippines requires all schools to provide the learning program and qualified teachers. Pero yun na nga, kinailangan ng training. And a year after that, of course, we expect better materials, better motivation coming from the student, the school and the student. So bukas patuloy po natin pa rin pag-uusapan itong mga bagay na to at sasagutin ko po yung mga ilang katanungan na natanggap ko sa email tsaka sa text. We will answer that. Tomorrow we will have a forum on online education and distance learning, okay? Baka may mga guests tayo in the next coming days. Pero maraming salamat po for those who joined me today. Happy Monday po. Monday, start of the week, okay? We're very hopeful, of course, palagi. We have faith, hope, and love in our hearts. We are hoping to have a good week ahead of us, right? And it all started with waking up to a new day. We say thank you for this day, Lord. Okay? Maraming salamat po. This has been Jaye Bautista for Buhay Online. Magkita-kita po tayo ulit bukas. Maraming salamat po. And have a good lunch po. Enjoy your lunch. And have a nice rest of the day.
Inyong natunghayan at napakinggan ang mga makabagong pamamaraan sa mundo ng online sa pamamagitan pa rin ng Broad Streamcast Communicators. Hanggang sa muli, maraming salamat po.